Hi guys, it's Josh Lloyd here, your NBA first look for DraftKings for Wednesday. There's 10 games on. Let's take a look at them right now. The first game up, the Philadelphia 76ers and the Charlotte Hornets. Terry Rozier missed last game for Charlotte. He's questionable here. Of course, with him out last time, Malik Monk, he was pretty bloody good. Put up some really, really strong performances. Monk did, and LaMelo Ball got the start in that game. Your Monk is at, $4,000? So if we do have word that Rozier is out again, Monk is an excellent play. What did he have? 49 fantasy points in that game? He would be an excellent option for us in that scenario. LaMelo Ball is at 7,000, and I reckon that it's edging a little bit too high, but I do like it if Rozier is out, while Gordon Hayward's at 7,200. Just a really strong floor option for us there. So, yeah, a lot of value in this one. Even though there is no spread or total revealed, there is a lot of value here. Joel Embiid missed last game for the Sixers. He is probable here. Seth Curry's been struggling. I'm not interested in him. I am interested in Embiid at 10,000. He has been obviously really good, and he's almost a lock for 50 every night. So he looks good to me. Shake Milton does not. And Ben Simmons, I'd only use Simmons if Embiid is out. He does perform better in those scenarios. He is at 8,200. He had 50 in that last game. And if Embiid plays, I'd probably lean a little bit away from using him. Devontae Graham at 66, not particularly interesting to me here. For this one, next up, the Pacers and the Bucks. The Pacers are on a back-to-back after taking on Memphis on Tuesday. Brogdon's at 8,100 against his former team. Now, he only averaged 28 against them last season, but he's been putting up big numbers so far this year, Brogdon. I like him. The salary might be a little bit too high, but I do like him. Now, the thing we have to worry about here is the Bucks are favored by a large amount. I'm not sure I believe it, that they're favored by 8.5 points. I don't think the Pacers are that bad, but the back-to-back is obviously playing a factor there. Giannis is at $11,000. Even in limited minutes, and I don't think they'll be that limited in this one. I think he's worth looking at there. While Sabonis at 83, also putting up good numbers again that Memphis game as well. He looks pretty strong. Chris Middleton's at 82. I reckon we can do better, and I do like Jeremy Lamb at 5,700. Now, this is under the assumption that Lamb plays on the back-to-back, but he has played a back-to-back already since returning. Drew Holiday's at 7,700, and that actually is pretty good value with the level that he's been playing at. Don't confuse him with his brothers. There is both Justin Holiday playing, so there's two J Holidays, and there is an A Holiday playing in this. Portis at 5,000. If you do think it's going to be a blowout, and if you do agree with that spread, then Portis gets more value. Otherwise, I reckon we can do a little bit better than using Punch Bob in our lineups. Next game, it is the Dallas Mavericks and the Atlanta Hawks. The Mavs are 1.5 point favorites, and the total here is 224. Porzingis is at 7,500. He hasn't really been hitting that number all that often. I do think there is a good opportunity for him here, so I wouldn't be completely scared off using Porzingis at what is a really good price. Capella at 88 is probably too much on the high side for me, while Doncic is at 10.8. I do like that for the Donch. I don't really see how Atlanta's slowing him down at all. Although his recent production hasn't been as elite as we would hope. He had just 50 points in the last game. 55 average over the last 7 is pretty good, but it's not elite at that salary. 9,500 for Trae Young. He is back at the moment. He's dropping 50s left, right, and center. So I do think that Trae at that salary looks good. I think we could take a flyer on Maxi Kleber, who started his first game back. Now, he didn't do much in that game, but he's at 3,700. So if he gets me 20 points, I'd be happy. He only had 12 fantasy points. He only played 18 minutes. I think both of those things will go up. He's a name at least to watch. There is no DeAndre Hunter for Atlanta, so Cam Reddish at 4,600 is an interesting GPP option. Timmy Hardaway off the bench isn't really getting much going for me. The next game we take a look at is the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. No Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for OKC. No George Hill. So really some big outs there. So that means MC Hamadou Diallo at 4,500. We've got to look at him because is he going to get a chance to start? You would have to think he gets an opportunity. And a 23 point floor I think is pretty good. I also like Teo Maledon at 4,300. Maledon will get another start, but he'll get an opportunity for more assists without Shea in there as well. Lou Dort's at 44. I'm not super into him. I'm much more into Baisley at 5,200. And then on the Houston side of things, they've been putting up some good numbers. The Crucifix Christian Woods at 8,600. He's a 40-plus guy every night. Love that one. Al Horford at 6,000, also playing well. I like him as an option. And then Oladipo with John Wall out. 7,800 for Oladipo. Looks pretty bloody good to me. I am all about that one. I also think if you want to take a flyer on someone, Eric Gordon at 54 could work. I wouldn't say he'd be the best option out there, but he could work. And without Johnny Wall, maybe you're looking at someone like a Jayshawn Tate at 4,700 who can play a little bit of backup point guard, fill in some more minutes on the wing. His last performance gave us 27 fantasy points as well, which at 4,700 is it's not far off the mark from where you want to be. The Knicks and the Bulls, that is the next game where we want to be, so let's take a look at that one. We know there's no Wendell Carter Jr. for Chicago again, so that means we're going to get Thad Young stepping up once more. Young's at 5,900. He's getting an astonishing amount of assists at the moment, and it's working out pretty well, so I don't mind him there. What we do have to look at, though, is Emmanuel quickly. 5,500. Now, Thibodeau could go against the grain here real quick, but he's averaging 30-plus in the last 3 games, 34-plus in the last 3 games. Minutes have been up. He's shooting really well. But even last game where he didn't shoot well, he brought some rebounds and assists, which is always a good thing to see. Randall's at 9,100, and recent production hasn't been as good for Randall, but it's still been pretty bloody high, and the Bulls should enable him to get some good numbers here. While Kobe White at 6,100, the only reason I'm not massive into this one is a low spread game, a low total, 216, because of the way the Knicks play. The Bulls are favored by 3 here. Levine's at 85, and that is a super sexy price. Very much into Zach Levine at that sort of salary, while Barrett's at 64, and even in some of the stinkers, he can still get to 30 points. I wouldn't be banking on him in every scenario, but he's worth looking at. And 7,100 for Larry Markkinen. Now, Markkinen's shooting at a level that is completely unsustainable. So I'm not sure I want to spend 7,100 on Lowry at this point in proceedings. Next game we look at is the Clippers. They are taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is a back-to-back for the Clippers. Will they play Paul George? Yes. Will they play Kawhi Leonard? I'm not sure. He played the back-to-back last time. I guess that's sort of left our consciousness that Kawhi doesn't play back-to-backs anymore. Let's see how he goes. Is he out there? I like Garland at 5,900 quite a bit. Sexton at 6,900 is not as enticing just because that extra 1,000, while Kawhi at 9,000, if he does play, that is a very, very good spot, and Paul George at 87 also looks good. Now, I have no doubts about George playing, but there is some worry, I guess, maybe I do have some doubts about George, because he didn't close the first half against the Nets, so let's see if there's any problem there. Andre Drummond's at 8,400, he's putting up big numbers. Some nights he gets low minutes, sometimes he gets big minutes, but he's not even guaranteed to play here. He's questionable after missing the last game, and Jarrett Allen dominated in that one. I'd be pretty cautious about using Drummond here. Reggie Jackson's at 54, didn't do too well against the Nets, but at 5,400, I'll go back to that well and hope for a 30-point performance, while Ibaka at 59, not for me, and Jarrett Allen at 65 is probably too high. I'd only consider him if we do have news that Andre Drummond is out of action. The Wizards and the Heat, the next game that we take a look at here. Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, and Avery Bradley are all probable. This is a back-to-back for the Wizards, so we're assuming that Russell Westbrook does not play. So Garrison Matthews at 3,300. We know Hal Neto is out, so we're going to see more Beal at point guard. That means more... I'm not putting Neto in there. More Beal at point guard. That means more openings at shooting guard. And Garrison Matthews is a guy that's in the rotation and can come in and hit some shots. He's at 3,300. Denny Avdia without Russell Westbrook is also another option at 3,500. I like that. Love Beal at 9,700. Probably one of the best plays of the day, to be honest. And then Jim Butler at 8,400, who's been absolutely on fire in his return from COVID, putting up big numbers across the board there. Really, really happy with what Butler's doing. Mo Wagner's at 42. He's a GPP option. He's clearly their best center, but Scott Brooks isn't giving him those minutes at this point. Hachimura's a no interest to me, and Tyler Hero at 68 is probably priced a little bit on the high side for my liking. Let us go on now to the next game. It is the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it is the San Antonio Spurs. No Karl Anthony Towns. No Juancho Hernan-Gomez. Again, the Spurs are 8-point favorites, and the total is 223.5. D'Angelo Russell has fallen down to 6,800, and that's because he's been terrible. He has not been good at all, but I'd be okay with at least throwing him into tournament lineups. Same with DeRozan, who's down at 6,900, a very cheap price for DeMar DeRozan. And Malik Beasley at 64, I think brings value, as does Anthony Edwards at 54, who should start again. He'll take a lot of shots. Now, whether he hits them or not is always the big question. But I like him. I like him more than, say, a Keldon Johnson at 6,100 because I'm saving money, and I think there is a better upside value there. Derek White's at 4,400. Maximum Derek still working his way back, only for tournaments, but I don't have trust yet in the production or in the minutes. While Naz Reid, will he get a start? I imagine he will, and at 5,800 after coming off the bench last game, Reid would be someone that I'm interested in using here. The next game is the Phoenix Suns. They're taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. This game is a 9:30 p.m. tip-off. The Suns are 2-point favorites, and the total here is 223. Steven Adams missed last game. He's questionable here. With him out, it was Bill Hernan-Gomez who stepped up ahead of Jackson Hayes, so we could keep an eye on that. Lonzo Ball's at 5,700. He has been playing at a very high level. I am fine with using Lonzo Ball there. Ayton's at 74, and I'm not particularly interested there. While Cam Johnson's been starting, he's also been doing nothing, but he has been starting and playing good minutes. He's at 5,000. He could get 30 points. He could get 10. I think he's a GPP option. Zion at 8,000. He brought the defensive numbers last game, so that's exciting. Let's see what he can do. I'm in on Zion there. 83 for Chris Paul. Well, Paul is doing it even with Booker back, which is fantastic. I'm just not sure I want to spend that on him. Eric Bledsoe revenge game. He's at 5,900. I'm not interested in that at all, nor with Jay Crowder, nor with Josh Hart. The last game of the night is another game involving a team on a back-to-back, and that is the Boston Celtics. They are taking on the Sacramento Kings here after taking on the Warriors on Tuesday. No spread or total here. Hassan Whiteside's at 3,600. Just a quick reminder, Hassan Whiteside's garbage, but if he plays 20 minutes, he'll beat that number. I don't think he will play 20 minutes, but he could. Peyton Pritchard could be returning for Boston. He's at 3,300. So with their desperate need of a guard, with Marcus Smart being out, maybe Pritchard could step back into 20 points. I have my doubts, but it's possible. Jalen's at 79, looks all right. Tatum at 89 also looks good. I'd rather take Jalen at that 7,900 mark. And then De'Aaron Fox at 8,500. He's been playing well, but 85 is a lot, and I'm not sure I'm willing to spend that. 6,300 for Harrison Barnes, who's been playing at a high level. I don't really feel the trust in that, nor do I feel it with Bud Hield at 6,600, who, again, he's playing at a higher level at the moment, but is it really where I want to spend 6,600? The answer to that is probably no. That'll do it for today's show. Don't forget, you can subscribe straight down below, hit the little bell, and hit a thumbs up. That'll help this show out and this channel out tremendously. Follow me over on Twitter at redrock_Beeble and on the Locked On Fantasy Basketball podcast and the Josh Lloyd Fantasy Basketball YouTube channel, which is linked in the title and description here. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.